In this activity, we are going to join a client computer to the domain server in Windows Server 2012. So the prerequisite of this activity, one, you must have installed Windows Server 2012 for the main server and have promoted the server as a domain controller. So we have a previous video about this on our previous activity. So installing Windows Server. So here's the link, and promoting the server as a domain controller. Here's the link. Also, we must have installed and created a client server and operating system. So you can use any operating system, either Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, or Windows 12. In this example, so in our scenario, we have two computers. The first computer is the main server with the computer name WinServer1 and the domain name winroot.net. The client computer, which is also a server, so the server name is WinServer2. So in this activity, first we need to check and get the information about the Ethernet properties and IPv4 configuration of our main server. So we have to take note of the IP address and the domain name of our main server. So in this example, the IP address is 192.168.1.100 and the domain is winroot.net. Then we need to configure our client computer, wherein we have to set up also the IPv4, the Ethernet properties, IPv4 configuration properties, and replace the default gateway and the prepared DNS server with the IP address of our main server. So here we are on the main server, wherein we will check the properties on the local server properties. So the computer name, WinServer1, the domain, WinRoot, and then the Ethernet properties. So we go to Ethernet properties and then IPv4 properties. So we will see the IP. So take note of the IP address of our main server. So we will be needing that in the IP configuration of our client computer. So since it has been set up, so we will just have to close this and cancel. Next, let us go to our client computer. So in our client computer, we will do the same. So we can open the network and sharing center. So it is another way of configuring the Ethernet properties and the IPv4 properties. And then we have set the IP address, the subnet mask, and the default gateway. So change this to the default gate to the IP address of our main server. So the IP address of our main server in this example is 192.168.1.100. So to check if the server, we can reach the server, so we can perform ping. And so ping winroot.net. So ping is used to request for response from the server. So in this example, we have received response from the server and the amount of time is spent in replying its response. Next, go to the computer properties. So another way that we can set up the properties is through the computer properties. So as we can see now, currently the work group is work group. So we will join this computer to the Windows Server. So now that we have already connected to the main server, next is we will, yan. So this is the virtual box wherein we will set the network settings to internal network since we are only using local network. Network, then local. So we will do the same both on the main server and the client computer. So right click on the computer name or virtual machine and then go to settings and then network. Then attach to internal network and name, you can type any name that you want. So in this example, I type local as the name. Next, to check or to perform ping, so we will repeat the ping statement. So you go to the command prompt, ping winroot.net. So winroot.net is the domain name of our main servers. We can see we received reply from 192.168.132 bytes of data, 1 milliseconds in 1 milliseconds. Yan. So we have to receive reply to check if the source or the main server is available, and it also displays the response time. Now we will log in to our client computer. So as you log into the client computer, now we will change the domain name. So go to the local server properties and then go to change settings and then domain. So remember, you must take note the domain name. So in this example, the domain name is winroot.net. And after that, you will be asked for the then you will be asked with the administrator and password or the username and password of the main server to be allowed to be connected to the domain server. So after that, welcome to the winroot domain. So we have successfully joined our domain computer or domain controller. So we must be able to restart the computer to complete the process or to apply the changes. Next, after that, so we can log in and join the domain server. So first, we will create a username and password. So first, click the domain server, then first you have to go to the Tools tab, then create organizational unit, users, and computer. Then click the Windows server and then type your first name, last name, and other information. So also user logon name is very important. So make sure you will remember your user login name. Then type your password. Your password must contain big letter, small letters, numbers, yan, and more than 8 characters. So we have 4 options. User must change password on next login. User cannot change password. Password never expires, and account is disabled. Make sure to remember your username and password. So in this example, we have set that the user will change his password upon the next login. And so if the password does not comply with the requirements, so you have to type again a new password. Password must be strong and must be difficult to guess. That's why restrictions on the password was being implemented when it comes to username and password. Next, we will move the user that we have created. So we will move it to the users folder. Select the user, then right click, then move. Move to, then select the folder. So now we have moved Bell to the users folder. Next, let us open again our client computer. Then log in. So as we log in, this first login is the local to this computer. Now we will choose this one and other users. So these other users, so we will use the username that we have created on the main server. So the username that we have created, so this is the one that we will use to sign in to the winroot domain server. So with this, in this domain server, so we can share resources and so we are under the domain server as a user. So we have defined in our password definition that upon login, the user needs to change the password. That's why we are prompted to change the password upon login. So there we have it. We have successfully logged in into the domain server system. Okay, if you haven't do the first 2 activities yet, so you have to do these activities, the first two activities before you can perform this third activity. Okay, that will be all for now. Thank you.